Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we are going to be taking a look if there is a new fastest supercar in Grand Theft Auto Online, doing a speed test comparison of the new sports and supercars, and also looking at some of the differences between each one of them on the test that we're going to be doing today. So obviously, a big part of this update was the vehicles. The Cunning Stunts DLC was revolving around all the brand new vehicles, and there were going to be a lot of questions about how these would perform and how they would stand up to the more recently added supercars and sports cars, and even the ones of past that are still dominating to this day. So in today's video, I'm going to be testing the new sports and supercars added in the Cunning Stunts DLC with some of the best of the old sports and supercars. So there's going to be quite a few tests today. All of the vehicles that were used in this video were fully modified and upgraded in every applicable way. So that means transmission, turbo, brakes, engine. Everything that could be applied to this car was to make it as fair and as balanced as possible. So because the tests that I ran today are on a straight line drag test, I am going to have to be doing some explaining regarding the times of these vehicles, because without any backstory, they might be kind of confusing. So to give you guys the quick times really fast on this track and on this straight line drag test, we obviously had the three new vehicles. We had the Tyrus RE-7B, which ran 2 times of 22.824 and 22.756, the Progen Tyrus, which ran times of 22.424 and 22.526, and the ETR1, which ran at the slowest of these times at 23.158 and 23.024. So with those times, you might say, okay, those don't necessarily look as quick as they might be, and compared to some of the other vehicles, you're certainly right. Because if we go back to just a few updates ago and even to the T20 had times of 22.191, which at a minimum is nearly a second plus faster than all of those times. The X80 Proto, which had times of 21.422 and 21.257, and the Fister 811, which had times of 21.356 and 21.490. So by that knowledge, you would think, okay, these supercars are really slow, don't compete with the old ones at all. However, that doesn't turn out to be the case. Even though that these three supercars don't necessarily match up on this track that I'm running right now, it just might indicate that they have a slower acceleration and top speed. Because according to racing YouTuber Bruffy1322, who actually raced it on a circuit and raced the 3 new supercars, it turns out that the results are pretty surprising. Now, according to him, the Progen Tyrus finished 11th in the supercars, and I could kind of tell right off the bat that there was just something off about this vehicle. When I was doing the stunt races, and granted, that might not be the best example to test any of these features out, but when I was doing the stunt races, I noticed it had a really weird traction. Something was either off about the handling. I just couldn't get a good grip and a good feel with the vehicle. So I certainly noticed that. So the Progen Tyrus finds itself in 11th place out of the supercars, which is a very interesting result based off of the price of the vehicle itself. Because if we go to the Legendary Motorsports, the Progen Tyrus is $2.55 million, making it the second most expensive supercar of all time. And the fact that it's only the 11th best is kind of a ripoff right there. So you do need to be careful. Now, granted, 11th place in the supercar class is only a difference of less than a second, maybe like 1 or 2 seconds in terms of testing and time. So all of the supercars are relatively competitive. Again, it just, when you break it down and you get into the small numbers, it does lag behind some of the other vehicles. And especially for a price tag of $2.55 million, you might expect a little bit more out of it. The next supercar on the list today, the Tyrus RE-7B, which is like a race car prototype. It actually finished, according to Bruffy, in 3rd of the supercars. So again, when you get into that top 5, you're really only separating yourself by fractions of seconds. So this is actually a really impressive time for the Tyrus RE-7B. And because it is also one of the most expensive cars in the game, $2.475 million, you would expect it to be one of the best. So that's actually really good that it comes in 3rd. But we're not done there yet. We haven't even gotten to the exciting stuff. The ETR1, again, according to Bruffy, finishes not only 1st in the supercar category, but also is the fastest land vehicle in the game. So that is incredible. Now, I've noticed very similar results with this car, not necessarily in a straight line drag test, but in terms of its handling. The way this car like grips the road and goes through turns, I'm by no means a racing expert at all, but I found myself doing really well with this car. I felt like I was able to just go around turns super smoothly, and apparently that's what really makes this car so great, is if you can take advantage of the amazing traction it has. That's where you're really going to see the super boost over some of the other supercars in the game, which is kind of great because as far as price goes, it's not that expensive. I say it's not that expensive now, but it's $2 million. It's the cheapest of the ones that was added, and it turns out to not only be the best of the three, but it turns out to be the best supercar in the game, posing the fastest time of any land vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now that is pretty incredible. So the next question we have is, does it break the supercar class? I mean, to an extent, it might, but I think you would really need a racer that can take advantage of what this car offers, which is, once again, really good handling, really good traction. So I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, if you use this car, you're ultimately going to win every race, because no, there's a lot of variables that go into everything. So does it completely destroy the supercar class? No. I think it opens the door for very advanced and even more expert racers to take this car and utilize the features it has and really just get that much of an advantage in supercar races. Now, the next thing I kind of want to discuss is, do you feel cheated? So knowing what we know so far, we just had 2 supercars added into the game that were pretty expensive, the X80 and of course the Pfister 811. We got 3 more with this update. It seems like Rockstar is just adding a ton of supercars lately. I mean, we got, I think it was 5 total or 4 total in Further Adventures in Finance and Felony. Who knows how many we're going to end up at the end of this update when they add all the secret and hidden vehicles into the game. So do you kind of feel cheated that you have to keep buying more supercars over and over and over again to essentially compete at the top of the pack? Because so far, this update includes 2 of the top 3 best supercars in the game, in the RE-7B and the ETR1. So now let's move on to the sports cars. Now, the sports cars are kind of interesting. There was 2 new ones that were added into the game. The first of which was the Obey Omnis. And the Obey Omnis got 2 times of 23.624 and 23.726, which I kind of recognize as slightly slower times than some other vehicles, which we'll touch on a little bit later, but still, wasn't a terrible time. However, the new Lampadati vehicle, the one that I really, really love, the Lampadati Tropos Rally, it actually got a time of 24.528 and 24.160. So in the mid to low 24, which made it one of the slower cars that we've actually raced on this track. So if we compare that to the Massacro race car, which generates a time of 22.559, the Jester race car with a time of 23.059, and the 770, which gets a 23.192, we see a significant difference in that kind of top tier of sports car based off of the ones that were added in today's update. Now, I fully understand that the vehicles added are more kind of rally sports cars and not necessarily sports cars that are meant for speed and speed alone, but there was still a huge discrepancy in the times that I received. Now, again, this is on a straight line drag test, testing speed and acceleration for the most part, but there is just a huge difference, especially when you're getting closer to a second and above more between these sports cars. That's when you're really seeing things start to get out of hand. So overall, my opinion on the sports cars, are they like the new fastest in any way based off of the tests that I've run so far? No, I think that their existing vehicles like the Massacro race car, the Jester race car, 770, Elegy, I think that if you want to use the best in a race, those are going to be the ones to go for. But can you compete in sports car races with these new vehicles, the Obey and the Lampadati? Absolutely. And at the end of the day, that's really all you're looking for, is vehicles that either can compete and or don't break the current class they're in. Because in my opinion, the best races are the ones where you have the most competitive environment, where it's super close. So yeah, those are the sports cars, and those are the supercars tested on a drag strip in the new Cunning Stunts DLC. Little bit of discussion as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below about the findings regarding these vehicles, how fast they are, their placing in the supercar category in particular. I think those results are pretty incredible. So let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below. If you did go on to enjoy the video, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.